I could have sworn.
That was our roommate telling their boss that they were not in love with pans.
That's right. That was the other one. Okay,
that is just being pansexual.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. That was a bad dad. That was a transgender dad joke.
Wait till I have to tell you the difference between pansexual, panromantic, and pangender.
That poor octopus.
And pangender is basically not feeling it's like being gender fluid, in all honesty. It like being gender fluid, but I just did not connect with the term of gender fluid.
Okay.
So I used all pronouns, and then I dropped she, her, and they, them, because I was just getting annoyed with people only calling me she, her.
Right. So I pulled up on, and again, we're using a lot of websites, but we're really enjoying kind of using these websites because, we're finding more and more information every day. So I pulled up Southeastern Yearly Meeting. It's the Quakers, oddly enough. And again, another religious group. The Quakers of Florida, Southeast Georgia, and Coastal South Carolina. These are typically what we would call red states. The South is generally very, very Republican, and so this type of material doesn't usually come out of the South.
Yeah.
But they had this Venn diagram. For those of you who don't know what a Venn diagram is, that's when all the circles they kind of overlap, and you find this stuff in this circle and that stuff in this circle, and where they overlap is in the middle. Teachers like to use them, students like to hate them. But we found this one here, and it gives us 4 different types of genders. It's male, female, agender, and gender fluid. And it's really, really good. And I plan on putting this on the Facebook page after, well, maybe probably in connection with this podcast, so that you guys can see this. But it identifies, male and agender, maybe masculine agender or agender fluid. Masculine gender fluid. There's feminine gender fluid. There's definitely people who may not identify as simply transgender. Mm-hmm. They are. It's black and white. I hate to say black and white when we're talking about transgender, but it's not as simple as transitioning from male to female or man to woman or woman to man.
Yeah.
Some of these people, definitely identify as they know they have a gender.
They do, and
they just might find it more masculine or more feminine.
Yeah, and some people who are more feminine use terms like demigirl.
Okay.
And I will have to look this up, but correct me if I'm wrong, which actually you cannot correct me because you don't know. I assume it is gender fae, which is...
I have heard the word fae.
Which is the feminine version of gender fun, which is, I'm going to assume, and I might be wrong here, another version of demi-boy.
Okay.
And then there's demi-fluid and then demi-gender.
So what you're saying is there's actually quite a few of these different...
Yeah, and I'm only listing the
gender fluidity type things.
There's only I'm only listing the few off the top of my head.
So I think that the kind of the cool question would be is to how many genders are there actually? Do you have any idea?
76.
76?
Yes, and that was the last time I looked it up.
All right, well, I'm going to pull it up right now. Again, according to abcnews.go, there are 58 gender options identified by ABC. Okay,
right.
So that means that ABC News identifies 58. Did I say 57?
I heard 58, but you might have said 57.
All right, they identify 58. But according to Medical News Today, there are actually 72. And they literally list butch as one of them. Agender, bigender, butch, cisgender, gender expanding, gender fluid, gender outlaw. Which I've heard before, and I love that.
Is it just where you commit crimes in the name of gender?
Wait till there's a song, Gender Outlaw. I could see that right now. It's like a country western, isn't it?
No, I know nobody in the community that likes country music.
I like country music.
Do you?
I do. That song that we play constantly with the fire company.
Okay.
That's actually, I think Keith Urban does it. Actually, I'm positive Keith Urban does it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've always played that one. That's one of my favorites. So I actually have a signed guitar by Toby Keith.
Where do you keep a signed guitar?
In a guitar case. Where else would you keep a guitar?
Where is
Boom, boom. I'm sorry. It was good. Like, where else would you keep a guitar? In a guitar case. It's not like you keep it in a saxophone case.
You're getting disowned after this.
Disowned.
I'm losing another
Dishonor. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
I'm losing
Dishonor on your guitar case.
I'm losing another dad in 2022.
Oh, you're running out of dads.
I am running out of dads.
All right. So one of the other ones we looked up, because again, all about our websites. And this was probably my favorite, was the University of Nebraska Omaha has the gender unicorn.
That is great.
I love this. This is going to be another one that I share on the Facebook page, and he's absolutely adorable. But you can definitely see his gender identity, gender expression, sex assigned at birth, physical attractions, and emotional attractions too. So this gender unicorn might actually help parents, who are trying to help their children through their gender identity process.
Yeah. And when you were first showing this to me, I did not realize that it had the emotional attraction too.
Mm-hmm.
So that will actually help me explain pan-romantic, pansexuality, and pangender, the difference between the three.
Okay.
I'm using the word pan because it's just the one that's on the top of my head.
That's fine. Well, alright, so using this gender, like I said, using the gender unicorn, and you have to remember that nobody can see it but us just yet. Can you explain pangender?
So, I'm going to start from the bottom to the top. I'm going to have it here so that I can point things to you. So, emotional attraction.
Go ahead.
Romantic as well.
Okay.
So, someone who is pan-romantic is someone who is romantic, who has emotional attachment to people regardless of their gender.
Alright.
Like myself, for example. I consider myself pan-romantic.
Okay.
Even though I am asexual.
Alright.
I don't care. I don't care about people's genders when I fall in love with them.
Okay.
Like, my first ex was a male and expressed himself as masculine.
Uh-huh.
My next partner was femme-presenting at the time.
Mm-hmm.
They are now no longer femme-presenting, and they, I think, are demi-boy.
Okay.
And then my next partner still uses she, her pronouns, but I think is gender fluid. So, it does not matter to me.
Okay, fair enough.
Gender, it gets thrown out the window.
Alright, so gender is not a factor.
Mm-hmm. Physical attraction. This comes into sexualities.
Okay. Talk, man. Don't gesture, because you didn't see Leo, but Leo literally just made mounds like he was talking about bits and pieces we're not allowed to talk about on the radio.
Yeah. So, being
Almond joys.
being physically attracted to someone who is femme-presenting.
Okay, fair. Oh, okay. Femme presenting, that works.
Or masculine-presenting.
Okay.
Or somebody who doesn't present at all.
Okay.
And I say that, and then I realize, oh yeah, that might be taken in the wrong way.
We use terms like gender fluid and gender neutral.
Yeah.
How come we don't, or I was going to say gender fluid and agender, but how come we don't say gender neutral?
Because gender neutral falls under the term non-binary, I would assume.
Right, but we may say like gender masculine or gender feminine,
Mm-hmm.
which left or right,
Yeah.
but we don't use that middle ground. You said non-presenting.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that the same as gender neutral?
Yeah.
Okay.
Non-presenting, somebody who might wear a binder, but
is not masculine.
Is not masculine nor
feminine.
Like, I know plenty of AFAB people who wear binders.
I would think that, early on, probably for both of us, that we would have classified ourselves as non-gender had we been aware.
Yeah.
Because if you think about the way we dressed, you played football. We were very non-conformist as far as our gender, our assigned sex.
Mm-hmm. And that leads me into gender expression.
Okay.
So, we both expressed ourselves in what you classified as non-conforming manners.
All right.
I identified myself as pangender. So, I used all pronouns.
Right.
Which I don't think falls under the... No, it falls under the gender fluid umbrella, I would assume.
Right.
And so,
Oh, it's in German.
Yes, it comes in German.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to pull up this stuff while Leo is talking, and I'm pulling it up on my computer so that I can get it on the Facebook page relatively quickly. I just found the gender unicorn. I literally typed in the gender unicorn.
Das Gender Unicorn.
Das Gender Unicorn. He's in German. It appears to be Japanese.
Well, it's not only English speakers who are having
it's insane.
gender crisis.
No, I understand that, but it's really cool to see. You know what I mean? It's really cool to see it in multiple languages.
Yeah.
That allows whoever designed the gender unicorn, whether it was the University of Nebraska or whether they're just using it, it allows people across the spectrum in other countries, because we have listeners in multiple countries. Mm-hmm. So if we can find a Russian one, we're set. Anyway, I'm sorry. Continue on. I bet. I'm going to shrink it back over here in the corner.
I think I'm done.
Are you sure you're done?
I'm sure I'm done.
But
I got derailed and now I forget where I was.
You were on gender expression.
So, well, I don't know how to continue to gender identity.
Okay, so gender expression is how a person expresses themselves, and how, whether it's their clothes, their hair, their eye. Which, by the way, I saw on one of my posts today, or one of my transgender groups today on Facebook.
Yeah.
That somebody was really curious because I guess a mutual friend or someone had suggested that a person was aware that they were transgender simply by their haircut.
How do you do that? How do you assume like that?
It was almost kind of like a, I don't want to say transphobic assumption.
Yeah.
Because it was like they came out as saying, hey, I'm transgender too. But if you're transgender, I would hope that you would be able to go, no, you can't judge a book by its cover. I mean, like, isn't that kind of what we're talking about?
Well, in the same breath, you've seen me, and I'm not going to name them.
Right. Well, we don't.
I'm going to refer to them as someone that we hang out with.
Okay.
Often around family.
Okay.
Look at people and go, do you think they're non-binary? Oh, they're definitely gay.
Oh my God, I think we all do that.
That is what they're doing.
Fair enough. Because you're absolutely right. We're all guilty of it in that case.
Because have been people that I've seen with brightly colored, short-cut hair, and go, oh yeah, they're queer.
Oh, and I think we're really notorious for that when it comes to the way a person talks.
And we refer to it as the gaydar.
Gaydar. And we're not. We are, like I said, we're supportive across the spectrum.
Yeah.
The LGBTQ plus community has been more than open to us, and vice versa. We love our friends across the spectrum. It doesn't matter if they're hetero, homosexual, pansexual, trisexual. If they'll try anything once, that's trisexual.
Okay.
That would be your uncle. Long story.
What?
We're not going there. But anyway, so when we say these things, we're not being derogatory. These are literally like goofy names that we've referred to these things as.
Yeah.
You have an aunt who falls into the LGBTQ community.
Mm-hmm.
We fall into the LGBTQ community.
Mm-hmm.
We're learning. I mean, like learning every single day about somebody new.
Yeah.
That we might not have ever suspected.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, again, that we're not saying what we suspect, but again, I go back to the Renaissance Fair this year.
Yeah.
And we have gone to the Renaissance Fair every single year from before you were born, when your sister and I used to go, when she was little. And you kind of associated, but you didn't associate. You thought it was cool, but hey, it was at a distance.
Yeah.
This was the first year where you actually made contact with a not only a character, but one of the actors.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened to be a drag queen.
Am I allowed to use her drag queen name? You
can absolutely use the character's name.
I love Lilith.
Lilith was an absolutely phenomenal character at the Renaissance Fair.
She was so nice.
And the thing was that I went up and approached Lilith the first time, and I said, hey, my son doesn't connect with anybody. Recently, came out as transgender. Spotted you immediately. I don't want to say fell in love, but felt a kinship.
Mm-hmm.
And Lilith immediately looked for you, and it was, oh my God, honey, come here. I'm so